It's my pleasure to introduce to you MasterControl's Senior VP of Marketing, Mr. Curt Porritt.
My topic today is customer programs. We have a lot of customer programs that I don't think are being utilized as they should be. And I stole this quote from Henry Ford that I think is very appropriate to the topic I'm going to speak on today. Coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. Okay, what we found at MasterControl is pretty much every time we get customers together, good things happen. Every single time. And with a lot of companies I've worked for, that's a scary thing. In fact, when we first started doing it here 5 years ago, with forums and Master Summit and user group meetings and so on and so forth, there were a lot of people that said, boy, do we want to bring customers together? What if one of them complains? You know, what if somebody says something negative? And the sales guys are particularly worried about that sort of thing. But what we found is whenever customers get together, they have a tendency to help each other a great deal. From a MasterControl standpoint, we are pretty good, I think, at giving you the technical, this is how the thing works kind of instruction. But the practical, this is how I applied it in my particular situation. You guys are much better at doing that than we are. And every time we have a Master Summit, I'm always asking all the customers, what are you getting out of it? What do you like? And inevitably, one of the biggest comments that I hear is, oh, I found out how so-and-so at such and such company has implemented this thing and how they're doing it, and it was a revelation to me. It was just, it changed my life of MasterControl. So a lot of these programs that I'm going to talk about have to do with this very thing, of getting you guys to get together, stay together, and then ultimately work together. That's the ultimate thing that we're after in the end. So here are some of the programs I'm going to cover. We've got user group meetings, the reference program that you've already heard some things about, Master Summit, Facebook page, LinkedIn group, our customer newsletter, our customer website, and our customer forum. And the big question I want to ask throughout all this is, are you taking advantage of these programs? And if not, why not? So what this is really about, this presentation, is motivation. I studied philosophy in college, which means I'm a really weird guy, among other things. But one of the things that I've really found fascinating in life is what motivates people to do the things that they do. And so what I want to cover is kind of 6 lessons about motivation from the life of Curt Porritt. Now, those of you that know me well know that my life is not the most exciting life on earth. I was hoping nobody would go running out the door. Most of you, luckily, don't know me well enough to say, OK, that's pretty boring. But I want to go through 6 lessons about motivation. And when you start off thinking about it philosophically, see if you can challenge this statement. I think everybody in the world is motivated by only one of 3 things. That's a pretty bold statement. I think in order to be motivated to do something, you're either going to be afraid of some sort of negative reinforcement, some sort of punishment. I'm going to fire you. I'm going to punish you in some way, put you in jail, whatever, whatever. Or you're motivated by some sort of hope of reward. I go to work to get paid. May not like work every day, but I do it anyway. There's some reward there. And then the last one is doing it just because you enjoy doing it. That is by far the best type of motivation that there is. And I wanted to discuss part of that in my first effort here. This is me. Yea, verily, I was cute at one point in my life. All of the mothers out there are saying, oh, what a cute little kid. All the fathers are saying, what in the world was his mom doing with his hair, sticking it straight up like that? And then all the engineers are saying, is his left ear bigger than his right ear? I think it is, actually. But to give you an idea of motivation of something you really enjoy doing, when I was a young kid, I loved watching Saturday cartoons. And I'm going to date some of you now, because I'm going to ask you to raise your hands on some things. And some of you are going to look at some of these next slides and say, I have no idea what that's talking about. I've never seen that in my life. And those of you that do know what they are, you're probably going to smile and say, that was really great. But for some reason, when I was a kid, grade school age, I had a difficult time waking up for school. I didn't really want to go. But every Saturday morning, I was up bright and early with my younger brother, with no alarm clock, with nobody waking me up, and waiting for cartoons to come. Just waiting for them to come. Okay, now to give you an idea of what this was like, it was different then than it is now. Okay, this is 60s and 70s. There was no all-night TV. You had 3 stations to choose from, basically, and they would sign off at about midnight, and they wouldn't sign on again until like 6 in the morning the next day. So if you're a young kid that can't really tell time to begin with, you wake up at whatever time it is, and you go down and you turn on this TV all excited, and this is what you got. And my brother and I were so excited to do this, we would actually look at this and say, oh, It looks like a bunch of bees. It looks like snow. It looks like everything. And then, ironically enough, the exciting part came, and something like this came on. And what you would find, and those of you that remember this, whenever this came on, what sound did it make? Boo! And you would sit there and watch this, you go, it's coming, it's coming. And then, 6 o'clock or whatever the time was that it came on, finally, you would start getting cartoons. What is this one? Bugs Bunny Roadrunner Hour. All right? Where's my clicker going? How about this one? How many knows what this is? Johnny Quest, one of the best cartoons ever, ever. This actually used to be on Nickelodeon a while ago at 10:30 at night. I watched it. My wife was over here. She will attest. I watch Johnny Quest still to this day. I watch Johnny Quest. Here's a tougher one. Space Ghost. How many of you have never seen this before? Space Ghost, great. Archie's. And another tough one. What is it? Dick Dastardly and Muttley. Okay? It was great. And I can tell by what age by who's smiling the biggest, because these were fantastic cartoons. No wonder I was motivated to do it. Okay? I got up every Saturday morning without fail. In fact, I had an older brother who's 12 years older than me that kind of made a habit of staying up late Friday nights. And he was in the bedroom just opposite of the TV. And one morning, my brother and I were down there watching these things, and it was going, and we were laughing and having a good time, and we heard this big thump. Boom! I thought, whoa, what was that? Come to find out, hours later, my brother had come in, had a really good night the night before. And he came in, and he was in bed trying to sleep in, and here we are at 6 in the morning watching cartoons just on the other side of his bed, the wall. And he had swung around in bed and put his fist right through the drywall in the wall in his bedroom, and we never did fix that hole. It was there for years. We used it as a garbage can for many years. We put stuff in it. Okay, this is a lot like our reference program and our customer advisory board. When you look at the 3 areas of motivation, punishment, reward, and just plain because you do it, we want you to do these things because we are treating you so extremely well at MasterControl that you want to be a part of our reference program, that you want to be a part of the customer advisory board. We're not going to pay you. Craig mentioned that the other day. That doesn't really go over well if there's an ethical issue there. It's really tough for us to come to you and say, hey, be a reference or we'll double your MSA. It's because you want to do it. And so that's a big challenge for us. We put that on us very seriously. John talks about it every single Master Summit. If you could hang around our offices and see how we talk about it in our offices, I think you would be fairly impressed. This new wall of success that we're putting in our new building, if any of you ever come back, you're going to have to spend some time there. It's a room. It's a room, and they enlarged the room halfway through construction because they said this is not enough. It's huge. When you come back to training next time, you're going to see all the emphasis we put on making you happy as customers. We do often give you a heartfelt thanks. Those are on the customer advisory board. They get some perks. They get into this conference for free. We love to have them here. We want them here. They're our experts. They've spent a whole year interacting with us on all kinds of different topics. So yeah, we do thank you. Those of you who've been references, you may have gotten a card, $25 gift card or something in the mail, and thank you. But we made conscious decisions that the main motivation here should be we treat you well enough and you're happy enough that you want to do this stuff. That's our goal. And it's not that easy. There's a big gap between Bugs Bunny Roadrunner Hour and being a great reference for a company in the quality space in software. But that's the goal that we want to have. So, next lesson, teamwork. This stud muffin on the left of that picture is me, once again. This is the all-state medley relay team from 1979. I didn't really run track because I enjoyed it. I was a sprinter, so I ran for 10 seconds, and then I ran for 22 seconds, and then I was done for the day. Didn't really excite me very much. I mostly ran track to stay in shape for football, which I did love a lot. But this particular team ended up coming together and winning the state championship, and we actually broke the state record. I achieved a lot because of these guys, but who would you say was the hero in this? How many of you know what a medley relay is? Okay, let me explain a medley relay. A medley relay is 2 guys, the 2 outside guys, myself and the guy on the far right. We run 220 yards, And we hand the baton off. The guy without the shirt, our California import, we call him. He was a surfer dude in Utah, which didn't go very well together. But he ran a 440, so 440 yards. And then the squirrely-looking guy with the glasses, he ran a half mile, 880 yards. So when you do that in a medley relay, the first two legs, I should say, the 220, is kind of just staying with the crowd. You're only going to have a second, maybe 2 seconds between all racers in a 220 yards. So our job was just stay with the crowd. Then we gave it to the 440 guy. He did a good job of staying with that. But this little squirrely guy, his name was Robert Schultz. He was the best 880 runner ever. He was just, I think that lack of oxygen to the brain just didn't bother him, because he would get out in front and he would stay in front. He wasn't a fast runner, but he just didn't get tired. And he used to run with a Star Wars theme in his brain all the time, he told me. That was when the first episode of Star Wars came out back then. And he would run and think, dun, 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 dun. But he was great. All we had to do, the other three guys, was stay somewhere within the realm of possibility. And Robert Schultz took it from there, and he would win by 20, 30 yards every time. So even though I got the medal, I got the awards, I got the accolades, I got all of that stuff, the guy that really won it for us was Robert. Robert Schultz was fantastic. This is a lot like user group meetings, the Master Summit, our Masters conferences in Europe, and hopefully soon in Asia, and the LinkedIn group. You guys have a team right around you. Probably sitting next to you is a Robert Schultz, somebody who is a master, if you want to go with that name tag kind of thing, that knows everything there is to know. You may not enjoy running track. You may not be the key star person, but there's somebody here that's going to be able to help you greatly every single time you get together in a user group meeting or a Master Summit or on a forum or on LinkedIn group or anything like that. That's what we're trying to promote. That's what we want you to do. Okay, moving on to lesson number 3, overcoming obstacles. There's a rumor going around that I like to fish a little bit. I do. As a kid, this is me as a boy and me in high school catching fish. We used to have a cabin up in Idaho that if I got $1 for every fish I caught out of that lake in Idaho over the years, I could retire. It would be easy. But straw hat, living just outside of Boise, Idaho, skinny legs, that was me back then. I used to go fishing all the time in high school, and almost to the point where when I came back from one trip, I would have the next trip planned. I had a couple friends that I went hunting and fishing with a lot. And as life happens and you start, you get married, you have kids, you're in school, you get jobs, I kind of got away from it for a lot of years, where I just got busy and got away from doing something that I really enjoy doing. Well, several years ago, I made a conscious decision to say, I'm going to figure out a way to get back fishing again. I went out and bought a boat. This summer, to tell you a long story short, this summer I probably went fishing an average of twice a week all summer long. And it's not just about me. One of the things about fishing is that if you enjoy something, if you have that motivation of doing it just because you enjoy it and getting things out of your way so that you can actually enjoy it, and you share that with others, just like we were talking about with Master Summits and rugs and so on, it affects a lot of people. Here's just some of the people that have been fishing on my boat this year alone. You'll recognize some of them from sitting next to you right now. But a lot of people, dozens and dozens of people have been on my boat just this year alone, let alone years in the past. But I wanted to tell you particularly about Jonas. This young man, his name is Jonas. He's 10 years old. He was born with a heart defect that they predicted he would not live to be 10 years old. They're currently predicting he won't live to be an adult. I only met Jonas once. He was on my boat for a day in July or something like that of this year. His dad has cancer. Been in and out of the Salt Lake Hospital all year long. Got a bone marrow transplant from this guy's aunt just before this fishing trip, in fact. And Jonas came out on my boat and had a ball. He caught so many fish. And my favorite part was I was there with my brother and my nephew as well, and we talk smack quite a bit when you're a fisherman who catches the biggest fish and the most and all that sort of thing. And he caught so many fish, he was actually going to my brother and to my nephew and trying to tell them how to catch fish. And I don't think he had ever caught one before this trip. And if I were to pay him to do something, it would be paying him to go give my brother and nephew a hard time about catching fish. He had a great time. It was one of the highlights of my summer to take Jonas out and let him catch a bunch of fish. So it affects a lot of people. This is a little bit, in my opinion, like the Masters Summit. I don't think you're going to have a 10-year-old boy with heart problems sitting next to you. That's a little dramatic. But you do have a lot of people around that can benefit from your expertise in MasterControl. I guarantee it. You just need to offer yourself and say, I'm going to come, I'm going to be here, I'm going to do something that I enjoy. How do I know that you enjoy it? I'm just going to be a little bold here now. Every year we ask this same question. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Net Promoter Score, but basically it's asking one question. Based on your experience this year, how likely are you to recommend next year's Masters Summit to other customers? We average right around 75% on this. For those of you that are familiar with Net Promoter Score, that's as high as the highest organizations in the world. So you enjoy coming to this event, evidently. I hope that's true every single year. We get pretty good rankings on it. Okay? But the question is always, if you enjoy it, one of the things that's fascinating to me is only about 50% of the people return. So I talk to people every year. You plan on coming next year? Oh, if I can work it out, if I can work it out, if I can work it out. I'm curious as to what's standing in your way. We talk about this a lot in marketing department. What's standing in your way from doing something that you feel is valuable, that you enjoy doing, so on and so forth? What's keeping that? And we have a list of things that we think. I'm curious, though, just by a quick straw poll, show of hands, if you think about reasons why customers come to the Masters Summit, enjoy being here, and then aren't able to come the next year, I'm curious just to get a straw poll right now of why you think that is. How many of you think it has a lot to do with the location or venue? Snowbird versus Park City versus Salt Lake, Las Vegas, whatever. Nobody? How about the time of year? Is it particularly difficult to come this time of year? A few? Okay. Agenda? Does that make it a big difference to have the agenda out early enough that you can see? And a couple? How about budget? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Is there any other reason you can think of that we can help overcome? One of the things we want to do as a marketing department is help you overcome that obstacle. So if I know it's budget, for example, I can start sending out messages now to your bosses and say, here are the reasons you should send so-and-so to this event. And we're going to send out another survey at the end of the whole Master Summit. It's going to be electronic, and we'll ask some similar questions. If you can help us out on that, we would very much appreciate it, and list any reasons that's trying to keep you from coming. I'm trying to help you go fishing. I'm trying to help you do something that I hope you want to do every single year. We grew a lot between last year and this year. 5 years ago when we started the Master Summit, I think we had 60 people show up. I think we have 350 to 400 or something this year at the summit. If we continue to grow that way, which I hope we do, I think this event is just going to continue to be really, really good. So trying to remove those obstacles and help you guys get here every year, and with all of these programs, not just the Master Summit, is what we're trying to do. Okay. Lesson 4, make the best of it. This was not what I wanted to do. This was not my idea. This is a Halloween party that was in my church several years ago. And a bunch of our friends got together, and my wife, bless her heart, got together, and they decided that we should be Little Bo Peep and the Lost Sheep. And guess who got to be Little Bo Peep? I struggled a little bit, I argued a little bit, but they finally convinced me, yeah, go ahead and do this, Curt. And so I thought, well, I'm going to make the most of this then. If they're going to ask me to do this, I'm going to take it to the extreme. I went out and bought some real cigars. Those of you that know about Mormons in any way, shape, or form, bringing a real cigar into your church house is not common. Let's leave it at that. Okay? I also went out and I believe I got some cooking sherry and gargled with it before coming to this thing. So I put on my little fake beard and I put on the wig, and I was Little Bo Peep that night. And it all was going well until somebody popped one of my balloons and I walked around lopsided the rest of the night. But doing something that you don't really want to do, I would liken this to technical support. Not everybody enjoys calling technical support. In a perfect world, we would not need technical support. In a realistic world, every software company has to have support that is worthwhile, helpful to the customers, walk you through things. In our industry in particular, it is vital that we have good, solid technical support. And we've spent a lot of time trying to fix technical support to a point where it is perfect. And they're still working on it. Those of you that came to the Master Summit last year, you saw Mark Eaton. He was our, forget what we called him, but he was our temporary tech support guy. We've spent a lot of time trying to make technical support very efficient, very effective, and as painless as possible to you. Are we perfect yet? I don't know if we'll ever be perfect. It's not one of those things that's easy to be perfect in. But I think we're a whole lot better, and I think we're getting a lot better as we continue to do training, so on and so forth. But one of the things I wanted to make you aware of is we're changing some of the ways that we're doing technical support that I hope you will take advantage of. It's not only the ability to call our tech support team now, which is clearly the most popular method to get tech support, but the forum, the customer forum on the customer website, when we first built that forum, the main goal for me was to leave MasterControl employees completely out of the equation. And I was very serious about that. I made it very clear to everybody, I know you want to go participate, I know you want to enter these conversations, but I want it to be customer to customer. We're going to expand that now after 5 years of having the forum, and we're going to include technical support. Technical support is now going to be in charge of the customer forum on the customer website. Mike Hinks and his team are going to be active out there, both in putting the top questions that are frequently asked, so you don't even have to call them. You can just go out and look real quick, look up your common question and find an answer very quickly. But then also you can interact. If you don't need something very quickly right now, but you do have a question, you can ask that out on the forum, and you'll get a response from technical support and probably 5 other customers, which again is ideal. We will give you the MasterControl technical support answer, which is we know our product. Then, hopefully, you'll get 5 other customers coming in and say, and here's how we did it, which I think is ideal for tech support. Okay, another thing that we're building into it is we're going to put live chat in for technical support. So when you go out to the customer forum and look at the top, pretty soon you're going to see a link that says live chat. And you'll be able to bring that up and say, okay, I need an answer right now. Can I type that in and just wait while I'm doing my work? You don't have to sit on hold, ruin your shoulder. You can just type that in and get it back, and if it develops into more than that, well, then you can call or you can go to the forum or whatever. Okay? We're also looking into building a knowledge base on the customer website where you can go and search a knowledge base. That is a huge undertaking. Probably not going to happen next week, but eventually it will. So good things happening in tech support. Give you some other options for doing something that everybody would probably rather not do, but you have to do. Little Bo Peep. Just don't let them pop your balloon halfway through. Okay, lesson 5 is learn and grow. It usually takes some investment. This is my graduation picture. Studley L. Do-Right himself. I had hair. Okay, it takes time to graduate from high school or from anything. This is a little bit, in my opinion, like our LinkedIn group and our customer newsletter. Not everything that you do on LinkedIn and customer newsletter stuff is going to be absolutely vital to your career, but these 2 areas, these 2 customer programs are intended to be very serious tools for you to use where you can go and learn great things about how to become more successful using MasterControl. I would really encourage you to start getting more involved with the LinkedIn group and start getting more involved with the customer newsletter. What we find is a lot of people are not getting the customer newsletter. We just redesigned it. It looks like this. And you should have got the first edition of this new design last week or the week before last, I forget which. But very recently, you should have got this. If you didn't get this, we would like to know. Something's wrong, okay? And we need your help just a little bit in this. We need you to update your contact data in the hospitality lounge, if you didn't get this thing, to make sure we've got the right email with the right person. We need you to check with your IT guys and remove us from your spam filters. We get caught in spam a lot. And it's a real problem for us because spam filters, depending on how strict your IT guys are with it, they'll weed out a lot of stuff that's good content as well. But also, just if you're not getting the newsletter or emails from us that you want to get, please let us know. Now, there is also the option, if you don't want to get this, that's fine. I get a lot of stuff all the time that I don't want. Just unsubscribe. And it's set up in an automated way at MasterControl where you're removed from the list and you're not added back on again. That's the way with everything that we've got. Okay? Lesson 6, final lesson, have some fun. Is Greg Bieber here? Is he in the room? Oh, he's around here somewhere. He's our guy in charge of international. This picture on the left is actually the fault of an app that I think is, what's it called, facejuggle.com. Greg Bieber and I were sitting together at a sales summit earlier this year, and Akira, one of our guys in Europe, took a picture of us, and with this app, it merged our faces together. And now we look like Larry, Daryl, and Daryl or something. Another thing that only half of you will probably recognize. The one on the right is myself at the Halloween party last year with Walt, our QCC, our Quality and Compliance Services guy. Have some fun. Enjoy each other. Okay? And I should say on this, one of the things I like to emphasize a lot is what it says on this slide. The ultimate goal of all businesses is really to make life better for people. Yeah, you use money to do that, but if you ask why do you make money, why do you make revenue, inevitably you're going to come to the answer to make life better for people. One of the only questions to ask then is, are you making it better for the few at the expense of the many, or are you making it better for the many, sometimes even at the expense of the few? I think MasterControl tries to embrace that philosophy. I think John Beckstrand does a good job of that kind of corporate culture. But this kind of thing. MasterControl's Facebook page is kind of like this. It's not intended to be necessarily a serious thing like LinkedIn is. You may not learn revolutionary things out there. But if you're into Facebook, you want to get to know the people around you in a social setting, you want to share pictures that you've taken at the Master Summit or whatever, you want to find out about the latest user group meetings, you want to chat with somebody in a casual way, Facebook page is a good way to do that. And I am the last one to do this. I had a Facebook page once. My daughter made it for me. I don't have it anymore because what I found was after 1 month of not paying any attention to it, all I was doing was offending everybody who were asking me to be my friend and me not responding. So it didn't work out very well. But I'm not into Facebook, but a lot of people absolutely love it. If you're one of those people, I would really encourage you to go out and sign up on our Facebook page and become a friend and like it and start interacting with each other. It's casual, it's fun. Jill and Emily, to give you an idea, Jill and Emily are the ones that are in charge of this. If you like your social attitude here, you're going to get that social reaction on Facebook as well. So, in summary then, these types of programs are built specifically to try to bring you guys together. Please go out and start to use them. Okay? They do no good, just like Mary was saying, they do no good unless you start putting some effort into it. There's generally a critical mass that has to happen with all of these programs, where once it's that critical mass of customers participating, it just takes off. And it starts doing really, really well. So go out and try to do that. Whatever motivates you, hopefully we've got a really good array of customer programs that you say, well, I'm not into Facebook, but I like LinkedIn. I'm not really into LinkedIn, but I like the live face-to-face events. Hopefully, whatever you are motivated to do, however you like to get support from your colleagues, we've got a program that'll do that. That's the goal anyway. If there are suggestions that you would like to have us see, on the back of that sheet, the one where you signed up for the user group meetings, there is this sheet. And I would love to get information from you guys and suggestions on what you think we could do to make any of these programs better, add new programs, whatever it is. Again, the bottom line is whenever we get you guys together, it works. It works really, really well. Okay? So that's my presentation. Please get involved. Please participate. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of the summit.